Know Your Candidate. Presented by Portland is Possible, broadcasted by XRAY FM. In this segment, we offer a brief background on the visionary candidates that are proudly standing and running for the acclaimed Portland Area City Council. For now, we have a candidate of District 4 that incorporates downtown, Slabtown, Chinatown, Lincoln, Hillsdale, Eastmoreland, Goose Hollow, and the Pearl District.
My name is Ben Hufford. I'm running for District 4. I'm an architect running on a housing platform.
Which industry should we focus on growing here?
Portland has a long history of creative industry, and that adds value to other industries like manufacturing. The industry we really need right now is construction because we have a housing crisis. We need to answer that housing crisis. But with respect to that, the jobs associated with housing are construction, are good quality jobs that you don't need a college education for.
How do we ensure funding for culture and the arts?
Portland should fund the things that are in its priorities, and culture and art should be our priorities. The best way to identify that we're spending on arts and culture is to make sure that anything in the budget related to arts and culture is identified in the budget so we can track it. From my perspective, the city should be helping arts and culture by doing two things. One, providing a bump to things that are already existing. Rather than creating arts and culture by itself, the city should be enhancing and supporting existing art. With respect to culture, affordability in Portland is a critical piece of that because we have creative people who want to live here and do creative things, and they need to be able to afford to live here.
After they are elected, the new city council will have the opportunity to decide how committees work and how decisions get made. What is one thing you would advocate for in that process to help the city be nimble and responsive to opportunity?
The change to the new government in Portland is fascinating. We're seeing people running for city council who never would have run previously. So with 12 new city commissioners, you're going to have people with real specialties. And I think some people are going to be able to self-identify. This is something that they do really well. As an architect, I'm focused on housing and making a place in the city that we can all be proud of, but other people will have other talents. So I've been thrilled so far with the people I've met on the campaign trail. They're great people, and I think that they will be able to self-identify in committees to be most productive for our city.
The central city has become unaffordable for most Portlanders to live and less attractive to work in or visit. Is that a problem? What's your vision for the future of the central city?
Affordability in Portland is the most important problem. We are well down our road of creating a city that only rich people can afford to buy and only rich people can afford to live here. We need to correct the policies that have created that, and in order to do that, we need more housing. We have a shortage of housing in the neighborhood of 6,000 to 10,000 units, and each year we are slated through projections to build 6,000 units of housing. Last year we built 1,484 units of housing, so we're falling behind every year. Every time we do that, we create greater scarcity and Portland becomes less and less affordable. This is the crisis in front of us right now. This is the most serious crisis, an existential crisis for Portland. Because if we want to be a visionary city where people of different income levels, lower income levels, can live, we need much more affordable housing. My vision is transit-oriented, environmentally friendly housing along transit corridors.
As Portland develops a vision for the future of the city, what are two groups or communities that are not always at the table that you are committed to engaging?
When we address a variety of challenges in front of our city, we often leave groups out. After we're done with a plan, and there's a variety of examples of this, we often say, oh, we have to stop the plan and reinvigorate it by looking at race and economic equity. So I would start by making sure that people who are advocates for racial equity and economic equity are at the table from day one. In contrast to that, the neighborhood association group, the second group, is really important and is embedded in our history and culture in Portland. Those typically people are already at the table, and there's some question about how much voice they should have. I think both of these groups need voice, the people who are already there and the people we need to bring, and we need to make sure they're included from day one.
Lightning round. What's a single word you would want to use to describe Portland in 30 years?
That's a hard one, but the word I chose is stunning. I think Portland should be a great city. A lot of people ask, can we get Portland back the way it was? And my vision for Portland is the Portland that we're bringing forward. We can build a better Portland than we have today.
Should the President Teddy Roosevelt statue come down?
Yes, the statue should come back because it is art and it's valuable and it reflects our history. If it's damaged, I'm okay with putting it up damaged.
Where do you get your coffee?
I work downtown and I have 2 businesses downtown. My coffee is from Stumptown in downtown High Julian.
If you had $5 million, what is one thing you would buy for Portland?
If I were Portland, I'd probably buy a park bench. But for $5 million, the rest of us should be able to buy something fairly significant, like access to the Willamette River. I think we are turning our back to the river and we should increase access.
What events or place in Portland that no longer exists do you wish you could bring back?
When I moved to Portland, there were a number of quirky things about Portland, and one of my favorite was the horse rings. These are historic horse rings in the curbs, and at that time, a little later even, 2005, there was an artist, Scott Wayne, Indiana, who would put little plastic horses on those horse rings, and boy, I love them.
So now you know your candidate, or a bit about them. We like to thank the visionary candidates, also like to especially thank all the volunteers and organizations that put this together. We couldn't do this without you. To look at each candidate, be a good Portland citizen, and to be a dashing and informed voter, listen to X-Ray FM to learn about ballots and the new ranked choice voting system. And check out portlandpossible.org.